and just a time to deepen, to perhaps answer some questions and perhaps become aware of even more questions. And so I welcome you. I'm going to begin with a little bit of attunement. So just be comfortable. Just allow yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, emotions to be exactly where they are right now as we join together through the vehicle of our breath and our non-local connection that can be so immediate and intimate as well. Breathe into that. With each breath, allow it to luxuriate, allow it to deepen, to invite the gift that is you, your essence, your blessing, your medicine is the place that invites each of us to be, to express, to listen, to be silent, and to recognize more deeply our true voices, and to be embraced in all of that. Yes, this is a medicine circle. And we are stewards of the heart. We are stewards of the field that we are but apprentices of and for. And we are also its teachers. Of that field, and perhaps as well cheerleaders in a inner cheering way. So I welcome you all this morning. Just allow your body to settle in. Awaken, little stretches through little movement to awaken the cells in your body that want to be recognized, to be noticed, to be acknowledged. And I am going to begin because it was something that really touched me with an inquiry as well as a statement. And that is something that last Wednesday that Jude Caravan expressed. And perhaps some of you were there at that time or heard that, where she said, the new science is the science of love. New science is the science of love. So here we are in this circle, scientists contemporary scientists on the exploration, the investigation of the science of love. Nothing more, nothing less. And so my inquiry, and then I'm going to invite your sharing and participation. Is as the scientists of love for the good of the whole. What are you learning and discovering? And before going to your head in that, open to the answer first in your body. As a scientist of love, what am I learning, discovering? What am I deepening into? As a scientist of love, what am I learning, discovering, deepening into in my participation in the connection field in good of the whole, and also my participation in other aspects of my life? What am I learning? Science is about knowing. To know is what the translation of about the science of love. And take a few more breaths, take that in. And then I'm going to invite you to speak from your essence, from your heart, and perhaps even from your medicine. So I'm going to place the talking stone into the center. And speak from your bodies, your experience in your body temple.
This is Claudia. I'd just like to share when you were asking us, what do we know about love? My immediate reaction, and it spoke, I heard it in my head loud and clear, and it said, you know nothing. You feel. I feel love. I don't know much about love. I just feel love. I feel when it feels good. I feel when it's giving me a little bit of an alert or a red signal that I need to step back, or that something's not quite right, or it's not quite the way maybe I need to be loved. So I feel the energy instead of knowing it. Thank you.
I often use the term, it's a semantical jungle out there. And with this stuff, words are just so important. And I've had this ongoing conversation with other friends for a while about love. And just to begin, in the Greek language, I think there were 5 different words that mean love, but they're all variations of the concept of love. Sort of in the same way as Eskimos has like about 25 different words for snow, depending on exactly what it is. And in these conversations with my friends, as we've discussed it, it really does seem that gratitude is a clearer and more precise way to experience that joy that people look for with the word of love. Now, this is all just information, and I claim no authority at all. But it's just fascinating to me being in the essence of the feeling, because there really aren't any words for it. And, it's just, for me, it works better to think of it as joy through gratitude. And just one final point, with a lot of people, the word love has a lot of emotional baggage to it. That was one reason to search for a clearer meaning.
I was thinking, not thinking, listening to that, what is love? And I heard once, sometime, I don't know when, if we have to talk about love, then we don't know love. I heard that when I think I was fairly young. Seemed to me, I heard that saying from an elder that said, if we have to talk about love, then we don't know love. And what came to me, that love is a creation. Love is. And once we know love, we're an expression of that. It's a pulse, just being. So it has many, many dimensions. And so I think sometimes we want to capsulize it and put it in a bottle. You don't love me because, but love, that's something else. Love is that if love is, then it doesn't need anything. It just is. And so when the heart, that to me, that's how the heart is. It expresses without many words. It doesn't need many words. It's just an expression. I love you, Sometimes it's just a bow. Understood. That's what came to me. It's like operating in the world is understood. So yeah, that's all I can give to it. It's an understood existence.
Beautiful. For me, words never come easy. And my gift is to touch people. And I treat people through touch. And oftentimes there are no words in that treatment room, but love is, like, it is there. It's in the room, it's in our hearts, it's in the touch, it's in every breath and movement. And sometimes if I feel a resistance to that, what I've learned to do is to have a client take in a deep breath and hold it. And what does it feel like to hold the breath? And then I have them let go. And when they let go, they melt. And I always attributed the feeling of love like a melty hug. Like the warmth, the liquid, the movement of everything.
The inquiry again is, how are you a scientist of love or for love? So Jude Caravan expressed last Wednesday that the new science is the science of love. And how are you a scientist for love, or whatever word that means? And listen for the answer and maybe speak from your experience in your body.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Sharon. Nice to see everyone today. And addressing your question about love, Henry, is not really one answer. As it's all embodied, it's all realms, it's entirety, your entirety. We're talking about down to your cellular level, you know, your atoms, molecules. That's the science I see, you know, from that scientific aspect, particles. Now, love is unspoken language, universal amongst all and everything, everywhere. A language which I am now learning. I am now learning. The science of it is that it's again all a learning experience, because my whole life I was oblivious of true what is love, or what the feeling of love, and how and when and why and where and who, and all those unanswered questions I have in my heart. And the science is just trying to sort it out, maybe analytically, or oh no, to me that's too complicated. Even the word science associated with love, for me that's too complicated, too technical. Love is just being, existing here and now. That's what I'm learning from all of you. I say I love all of you. you all send your love back to me. And it's a feeling. It's a deep, deep, beautiful, beautiful feeling that I'm now learning to understand. And it's a journey we all have embarked on and continue to eternally, infinitely. And just wanted to share that with you.
Good morning. I'll pipe in again. As you repeated the question and put it back out there, Henry, and asked about the science, the word science stood out at me this time instead of what do I think. And then my first reaction was, no, I don't know, I feel. So when you asked about science this time, I looked at science and what does that mean? And it's like proving certain things, it's gathering information, but it also stems, and a couple of words that came to mind was physics, biology, chemistry, that sort of stuff. So when I actually look at the science of love these last few minutes a little deeper, I sit there and I definitely go with the biology of it. How do I feel? How am I reacting to what is being presented or around me? And chemistry, I feel like I'm a chemic, with a chemistry set, definitely in navigating the love department, because we can add all sorts of different words to that chemistry of it. Sometimes my love is loyal. Sometimes my love is kind. Sometimes my love is protective and fierce. Sometimes my love is gentle. Sometimes my love is a hug. Sometimes my love is just support. Sometimes my love is listening. So that's my chemistry set. That's to me what love is made up of. The balance, making sure that all of those chemistries and all of those little potions and things are being put in there. A little drop of, love. Like I said, drops of loyalty, drops of overprotectiveness, with my children, with people I love. I do get loyal, overprotective. All of those things are part of the chemistry to me of love. And I always check it. I guess the proof is my biology, is how do I feel after with what I have received and what I have imparted or given. So I just wanted to drop that into the field. Thank you.
Well, thanks for redirecting the focus. At least for me, quite a while back, I coined the term quantumology for those of us that like to live in the place where metaphysics and physics meet. And I find, for the most part, the lessons I've been learning have been mostly involved with getting out of my own way and just being totally immersed and enveloped in that feeling of love, trying to live in the eternal now as much as I possibly can, and just letting the flow carry me away. In the past, I used to be really disappointed when my plans didn't work out, but anymore, I look on it as an opportunity because I never know where I'm going to end up or how I'm going to end up, and it doesn't really matter how things look, because it seems that as long as I can work on my internal science of getting out of my way, I guess would be a good way of putting it, everything seems to be work out for the best. And so, it's such an intangible thing, but that's sort of what I came up with, is my work as a scientist to love is learning how to get out of my own way and just be completely enveloped by love. And then let it carry me away.
Yes. Yes, to what everyone has shared. And a kind of a complementary inquiry would be, how are you an artist of love or for love? I did a Waldorf teacher training, and one of the descriptions of Rudolf Steiner, who was the founder or creator of Waldorf education, it was expressed that he was an artist among scientists, and he was a scientist among artists, that he wanted to kind of go deeper and to bring both of those together. And I feel like, you know, especially here, the artist part is kind of a complementary part, but those of us who are more mystically oriented and to going deeper, and I love that, Tony, of finding the different words, that the Eskimos have different words for snow, or different words to describe that, and different words for love, or different facets of it. And so a lot of beautiful things were expressed, and I feel like that what we express is what we have expressed, and more, because you can always go deeper in this, are what we bring to the field, are the love that we bring to the connection field, is the love that we bring to all our relations, to all our connections. And I especially wanted to bring it down to a body level, but we've also been expressing from a heart level, which is also in our experience to especially to move away from the mind, to get down into our experience. So what, as heart resonance students, facilitators, that, you know, just opening to, in each moment when we're in a group, whether we are facilitating or our presence, we are all facilitating by our participation. We are helping it to happen and to go deeper. And I want to take a breath here and to invite those that haven't shared, if you like to. So how are you a scientist of or for love, and even an artist of love here?
I will quickly share from my boarder, since I've already shared. She was listening to the conversation, so she just came in with a little piece of paper, and she said she wanted to share. It's very simple. Love. Living off volatile emotions. The L for living, the O for off, the V for volatile, the E emotions. Living off volatile emotions. Thank you.
Well, Kate will just pipe into this inquiry into love, into just really love what's being expressed. And when you can fall into the just loving the moment, it's rather hard to improve on that silence. You know, I can felt few people relishing, and I know my inquiries into this love is, you know, the conclusions that Brother Tony has received. I've kind of gotten there too. The need for no longer planning, you know, I just have seen that the flow takes me where it takes me, and the more I can stay in an emotional balanced place with it all. But when I really look into love, or as I think that we're looking into this collective inquiry into love, I think we can't leave the stomach out. You know, because always my life, you know, if I love somebody, you fed them, you know, the food was there. And so I just think that the best way we can express love is, well, you know what it's like when we're in these circles. It's so beautiful. Let us have the wisdom to teach our children this, you know, and the emotional. I just what children are exposed to nowadays, you know, I don't know. It's just something I can only really imagine. I only know what I was exposed to. And, you know, we didn't have even much television in my young days, you know. And so as I'm asking myself, what does it mean to be a mentoring steward? You'll see I'm like harvesting the mint as I'm speaking, because I find I've been spending more time on the computer and less time loving the Earth Mother. And that feels so important to me. You know, I kind of know that she'll always take care of me if I take care of her. And so when mentoring steward and love always takes me back to the garden part, you know, back to the growing of the food and the feeding of the bellies. And I don't know, I guess it's my stomach that's feeling. I'm bringing my bodily feelings in my stomach. And thank you for listening to my ramblings and watching me braid my hair and do my goofy things. And I'll pass the stone. Yeah, and Miranda, we'd love to be on your table. Wow. That's what melting into the bliss.
Please tell me if I'm talking too much, but I have something that I would really like to offer regarding the science of love in the real world. About 13 years ago, I was a political activist, really serious political activist, and got totally burned out and decided to try spirituality. And so I got really immersed in spirituality, and then I figured out that it was actually living life was a combination of both. And so my solution was something I created that I call the SMILE program. So for the past 13 years, 12 years anyway, every day before I leave my home, I make a conscious commitment to have a positive, apolitical, authentic conversation with a half a dozen people I've never seen before. And it's not like you're and this is where being in the flow is the most important, because the flow won't allow you to intrude. The flow will take you where you need to be, and you'll say what you need to say. And it just, the discernment that you're able to be a part of is just absolutely mind-boggling. And you never really know where those little ripples of positivity are going out into the universe. You're just actively creating them and giving them to the universe to let the universe do with it what it will. And I've never been so gratified with practice in my entire life. It's just amazing, just walking around making people smile. And I needed that, or whatever, you know. And so I'm passing on love with jokes. And the best part of it is you don't have to have that many jokes, because you're always telling them to different people. The authenticity is what makes it work, though, between that and being in the flow. Thank you. Well, I would suggest that those who felt guided might give it a try. In fact, I was talking with this random stranger on one of my last journeys out, and we were thinking to ourselves, what if 10 people out of 100 decided every day to have at least one a positive, apolitical, authentic conversation with someone they didn't know? Imagine the change that could make.
Beautiful.
I,
Go ahead, you're it. Yeah.
I was just, I'm not into much conversation today because of that after the meditation and feeling into that silence and understanding what that silence of the heart and that once what I got from the author of that whole idea of love and heartfelt love doesn't need words. It's being able to show up in that capacity of love and offering from the place of love. And I think that for me to show up in that place of offering, whatever I do it from a place of love and acceptance. And I think when I look at where I am right now in terms of where we are, is like coming to that place that not looking to be glorified because I showed up. My ego is out the way. I just show up in this most authentic way and make my offering. You know, it's like what needs to be done. You know, it's like sometimes we get into, why don't someone else do it? Well, if I hear it and I see it and feel it, then it becomes my way of offering, not waiting for you or the next person to show up, because it's calling to me. It's calling from my heart. It may not be calling from the other person, but it's how do I show up? And so my thing in working in my community and working in this capacity, I feel the greatest thing is to be able to answer the call and show up. And to me, that's the greatest expressions of love from that I can bring to my community and bring to others, is to be able to show up, no matter how difficult it is. And in this, when we talk about, you know, it's like so long we talked about the separation between the material and the spiritual. And one of the texts I read from the ancient texts in the time when we was falling out of this capacity to be in relationship with our spiritual ways. And one of the old ancient prophecies from, it comes out of the Egyptian text. It says that there was a time on the planet when we knew how to be in this space of high consciousness and in love. But it also came a time when we had to like recede into ourselves to allow for the materialistic part of ourselves to evolve. So I feel like we evolved in all of these two capacities now. So now we come in, we know how to integrate and bring together these two parts of ourselves, the cosmology of whether it's physical science, whatever we want to call it, but these sciences, I think the prophet says, when the sciences and the spiritual meet, then we would know that we had created balance on this planet. So living out that for ourselves and being an expression. And I like the way that Claudia, she talked about the different expressions of that science and that love together. So I think that those are ways that I feel that I show up in the world, is being able to listen to the call and being able to answer and just show up. Whether it's just me, it's whoever, but just showing up when I'm called to show up. Thank you. I think somebody's at my door.
Beautiful. So a couple things, making practical this. Well, first, I remembered, maybe some of you remember a book in the late 70s by Norman O. Brown. It was called Love's Body. And Kate speaking about the stomach. And so in a sense, we are each feeding and being fed, or eating and being by other people in our lives, and there is an exchange that is always happening. Well, it's like giving and receiving. We're providing nourishment, especially when we are operating in the flow and from our medicine, from our unique gifts, soul gifts, I think someone mentioned. And something that came to mind for me is also maybe an inquiry to ask is how was I an artist of love or for love today? And how, and also how could I go deeper into that? And for me, the answer was, you know, what was expressed earlier of being in the flow. So just allowing myself to be in the flow more, to get out of what I think I should be doing at any moment, but just being present and being in the flow, that can help me deepen into being an artist, into being a scientist, into being a child of love. And last, a couple of things that Jude Caravan, where we started on the new science, that she expressed the science of love. And she said that if it makes your heart sing, what is it that makes your heart sing? To do that, it comes down to acting locally and to do what is right in front of you. And the second part, she said that if it makes your heart break, do something. So those are two ways that we can be better scientists, stewards, artists, students of love. And that all connects with heart resonance facilitators, whether it's the steward, mentors, that we bring more heart resonance, we bring more of the deeper understanding of our connectedness that we've really, I feel like we've really touched upon here this morning. And also I wrote down kind of a quote that Charles Eisenstein expressed on Wednesday as well. I think it may be one of his books, is How to Create the More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. So I open the field again to any, we just have just a few more minutes left. Anyone might feel inspired.
Well, Henry, I want to suggest that it's the heartbreak that brings us here. That, you know, it's this collective heartbreak. It's this knowing that, you know, like right here, I found this. You won't believe, look at the amazing face on this rock. Just, you know, they say every rock has a face, but some of them are just so, when they smile at you like that, you know. And I guess that's what brings us here, is the conversation of how do we move forward as a more loving, connected world. And we're hoping that good of the whole, that our connection field here is an example of how we bring various cultures and ideas together, and we do sacred listening. Because truly it's that heart sharing and listening from the heart that allows a deeper awareness of ourselves, and and then allows us to use our power more, if you will, kind of thing. They say there's love is a power. I always hear that the prayer, the old Jane prayer that I love, a weapon. You probably have all heard it before. You don't need, but a weapon, howsoever powerful it can be, can always be superseded by a more powerful weapon. But there is no weapon more powerful than nonviolence and love. And so I keep yearning that I'm going to be witness to the time. And when I was at Standing Rock, I thought, this is it. We are going to be witness to the time when the power of love is seen to be the force that we all want to live with, that we all want to go. And now my hope resides in, Phil Lane has put together, it's on the 19th to the 21st, he's calling it the Eagle and Condor Embassy, I believe. Anyway, it's full of all kinds of guiding principles and declarations that are unanimous among world leaders through many, many areas of this world. It feels like it speaks for the majority of those who have been relegated, or who can deny the colonial white colonization? What's the word? The white power that has brought us to, that's made the choices, that has brought us to the place where we're at, where people are not living the art. Life is an art. And so we've come to these dead-end, no-win situations with the choices we have made. And it just seems kind of obvious that as a species, I don't know, I hold out hope for my species, even though my heart is breaking every time I, get a glimpse of a news segment or something. I try not to, but Mark always has that television on, so I hear a lot. And anyway, I think it's that heartbreak that brings us together, is all I can say. I know that as much as we've all said, love has kind of been vague, and I loved how Sharon says, I'm just learning to know what that feels like, even learning to love ourselves, learning to love each other. And see, I'm just kind of rambling on about this lost soul who I think we're all looking for love, and it's maybe that yearning, that heartbreak, that because we know it can be a different world just as readily as we got this one. And so it's like, let the connection field spread like the most virulent contagion ever. Let the love and beauty I feel in this circle be known by all. And thank you for listening, and I'll return the stone.
You have another minute, Henry? I just wanted to share something from Seed of the Soul. I don't know if any of you studied or read the Seed of the Soul. An authentically empowered person lives in love. Love is the energy of the soul. Love is what heals the personality. There's nothing that cannot be healed by love. There's nothing but love. Love is not a passive state. It is an active force. It is the force of the soul. Love does more than bring peace where there's conflict. It brings a different way of being in the world. It brings harmony and active interest in well-being of others. It brings concern and care. It brings light. It washes away the concerns of the personality. In the light of love, there's only love. That's from Zukat. Soul, he talks about the seat of the soul. I read this book 3 or 4 times, and this year, more than ever, it has come to mean so much in terms of deepening that connection to love and stepping out of the guilt and shame of and judging, but to know that if I can embrace the fact that everything that led me to right here has been my soul bringing me forward, and embracing that lesson is it becomes more than just words. It becomes a gratitude, an appreciation, a deepening in, almost kneeling to oneself within that self, that purity of self is kneeling. Can I kneel to that which is already embodied inside of me and then express it outward? That becomes my God self. I'm kneeling to the God that's within me. So that is love for me.
If I could offer one thing really quickly, Kate reminded me of this. It's one of the most profound pictures of the expression of love that I've seen in a long time. And what it is a picture of Martin Luther King. He'd been placed in the back of a police car. This was during a demonstration down in southern Florida back in the 60s. He'd been placed in the back of a police car, and right next to him, they had put in a police dog that was it looked like he was bigger than Dr. King. And it was just incredible, because the whole idea of putting that police dog in the back of that car with him was that the dog was going to tear him to shreds. That wasn't what happened at all. That dog felt the love of Dr. King and just instantaneously became the most sweetest, gentlest, innocent puppy you could possibly ever imagine, nuzzling up against Dr. King. And I was just thinking, what a powerful manifestation of love through all that chaos, for him to still maintain that field of love, so that huge, potentially, the dog could have done him in about 3 bites, but he fell in love with him and became just like an innocent little puppy. Just a magnificent thing. Just a magnificent thing. Bless him.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would love to get a copy of that, what you read from, that's Gary Zukav, yes? If you're able to, I don't know if that would be, of just that quote. But don't worry about it if not. I did have that book at one time, but yeah, thank you, that's beautiful. So thank you, everyone. We are at the top of the hour. Let's just do a silent moment or two together. Just again, connecting with our breath, just honoring each person in our circle and all that was shared. All of the art, all of the science, all of the knowing, the inner knowing, and as well the inquiry, the questions. from the resonance of our hearts. Thank you all for joining in. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Actually, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be doing something that, what is it called? The Global Heart Think Tank. So we'll have a little bit different theme. And so you are welcome. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern time. You're
I've
welcome.
been curious about that, so I may show up.
Okay. So blessings. Have a beautiful day. And I'm not sure who's going to take over now because John is away. So I'm going to stay on for a bit. Take care.